going on YouTube world? We are KRT LYFE, KRT LYFE with the Y. Like, subscribe, comment, all that cool stuff. I'm your brother Reza, and this is your beautiful sister Kat. And behind us is the Porsche 997. Not in the parking deck, in the garage. Ooh. This video should be called "Man Buys Sports Car and Then Complains About It Being a Sports Car." So behind us today is our 2007 Porsche 997 Carrera. And today's video is going to be about the things that we love about it, the things that we hate about it, and why we are going to sell it. So we made a list. We're going to try to make this as concise and entertaining as possible and not try to bore you to death with a whole bunch of talking. But the specs basically 2007 Carrera 997, regular one, not Sport, not S, not 4, just the regular joint. So, starting off with the things that we don't like about this 2007 Carrera 997. We're going to start off with one of the most basic things, and that is the keys. So, the keys on this thing, damn it, I don't have the keys on. Where are the keys? Hold on. Where did I put my keys?
Sorry, we're unprepared.
Here we go. All right, so the keys on the 997. So, the keys on the 997 are annoying to me, and I hate it because it has the trunk unlock button. It has the rear unlock button, the trunk unlock button, and a single button for the lock-unlock feature. This annoys me to death because I wish there was a separate lock and unlock button and then just a unlock for the hood and not for the actual trunk hood, the boot hood.
That's kind of unnecessary.
This is the trunk, that's the engine. I would like for the trunk to be able to pop open, but the engine doesn't need to be able to pop open, and it does
from
that.
the key.
Yes, from the key. Well, on this one, actually, you know what I just remembered? It doesn't actually pop open. It doesn't do anything. Like,
so we have a button that have absolutely no use.
Yes, it doesn't do anything because I think this key can go for the Caymans, not Caymans, the Caymans, and other cars like that, and you can actually pop the trunk on, but this doesn't have a trunk to be popped, so you have pretty much a dead button. And I really feel like at $500 a key, Porsche could have put more thought into the key and given you an lock button and the trunk popping button, which you could have actually used. So that's number one. Number two is the seatbelt warning. The seatbelt warning in this thing is insane.
I think this is one of the most hated features by both of us in this car, I swear.
Yes. So if you don't have a 997 and you don't know what we're talking about, basically the seatbelt warning in this thing, it chimes crazy loud if you don't have your seatbelt on, even if you're doing the most mundane thing like moving the car around in the garage or in a parking deck or doing whatever low speed driving you might be doing. Yes. It just goes boom, boom, like a sonar.
Very loud.
Super loud. And there's no way to deactivate it or turn it off that I know of without, buying one of those little blank things.
The things that pop into your
and then pop into the seatbelt. That's the only way I've seen without doing some crazy wiring to turn that thing off. And it absolutely annoys the hell out of me every time I drive this car.
Well, I mean, I know all the seatbelt warnings annoy you. They don't annoy me as much, but this one does because it's so much louder than any other car we've ever had.
Yes.
So it just takes it on a whole other level.
Yes, very
anyway,
annoying.
moving on.
So, moving on. The seats are comfortable, but not the most comfortable seats ever. So the seats are good. They're better than, I would say they're better than 996 seats.
Definitely.
But they're just not the most comfortable seats ever in a car. They're not like an AMG seat, for instance. But, I mean, it is a sports car, so I get the trade-off, but it's like, the seats aren't comfortable. And the lame cup holders.
Oh, my God.
The teeny tiny lame cup holders that pop out from the dash. Like, I don't know why Porsche didn't think that people wanted to take drinks with them because this is a really good, like, touring car, you know, if you're going to go do some...
Especially nice ride, like, take it for a long, nice drive.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Yeah, you could, do some really good driving in this thing, but they didn't put a proper cup holder in there for you to put your drinks and stuff like that, so... It's kind of annoying.
I feel like at this point, with the cup holders it has in there, we might as well not have any at all because it's just an extra thing that is there. It's never used. It's obviously people spend money, designing it and putting it in, but
it's pretty much you can only put like
useless.
an espresso or something in there.
If any, because it's kind of wobbly, and I'm just not sure if I trust it all the way, because it is on the passenger side, so if something happens, that espresso is going to go straight on my lap. So, yeah, no, that's a no-go.
So, yeah, the lame cup holders. The cargo space is in, and it's not like, this is not like a car that you can like go pick your friend up from the airport and like put all the luggage in it and all that kind of stuff. Like, there's literally almost no cargo space except for what's in the front, and you can put a little bit behind your seats, but you can make it work. But that's the thing that I really kind of annoys me about it, is that you have to make it work. If you, like, for instance, like one day I was taking a rifle case to a friend of mine's house, and it was a really nice Sunday night, and I really wanted to drive this car. And I could have easily thrown the rifle case in the GX, but I was like, no, I want to drive this Porsche because it's Sunday and there's nobody on the road. And it literally took me all of like 15, 20 minutes just to figure out how I was going to put this rifle case inside the car without damaging anything on the interior. So there's no cargo room.
It's like puzzle where people put the groceries in the bags. It's the same thing you put in your cargo in a Porsche.
Pretty much. So yes, the low ride height and getting in and out of it. Man, it's not the worst. But this is one of those cars where you still got to kind of fall into it a little bit, and then getting out, you got to kind of yank yourself out.
Climb out.
And it's like, we're still relatively young. We're not in our 70s or something like that. But still, like, getting in and out of this car, going to run errands, like getting in and out of it maybe once or twice if you're going on a drive is not that bad.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do errands and repeated stops and getting in and out of it, it just kind of gets like, oh my God, why is this car so low?
And we're not big size people, so I feel like for us it's definitely a lot easier than somebody's just, another foot higher than us. I just can't imagine doing that.
I don't know how big people drive these kind of cars, because I'm only 5'8", and it's like, oh God.
Yeah.
Yep. So moving on. Driving in bad weather, snow, or heavy rain and hitting obstacles in the road. And feeling everything in the road. So, like, this car is pretty much a sunny day car. Like, driving in it in the snow and driving in the rain, yes, people do it. Yes, it has been done. People do it on YouTube and all that kind of stuff all the time. People always daily these cars. But in torrential rain, driving this car, it's not the best experience in the world, because you're so low, and like if a tractor trailer goes by you, all the overspray is shooting over you. Like, even the most shallow amount of water feels like you're like, literally in a boat. And you're like taking a boat down a river instead of taking a car down a road.
But then also being in Atlanta with all the potholes, that makes it a lot scarier because you can't see them.
You can't see the potholes.
So that's another thing you have to worry about. It's hard to drive over them when you see them, but when you don't, that's a whole other ballgame.
Exactly. And then when you hit said pothole, you definitely feel it all through the car. Even though I have taken the 19s off and put 18s and chunky tires on this car, it still is a very rough ride in most of Atlanta's roads. So, yeah. And then hitting objects in the road. So in my 996, if y'all seen that video, I actually was going to lower my 996 when I had it. And literally the week before that happened, I smashed into some objects on the highway. And yeah, I'm definitely not lowering anything.
That canceled that whole lower.
If my car had been a little bit higher, I could have cleared it, but it didn't, and it broke both of the radiators, and I had to fix that. It was like, what, $1,000, I think. So
yeah, we definitely live in the wrong area to have a lowered car. For sure.
And then the last thing that I hate about this car. So bear with me on this one. This car is fast, but it doesn't feel that fast. It doesn't give you that fizz and that thrill unless you're going.
It doesn't push you into this seat like the AMG car would.
It doesn't have that torque, and it doesn't give you the fizz unless you're going really, really, really fast. A lot faster than you need to be driving on public roads. So this car is fun to drive, but I feel like I have more fun driving like a GTI or driving even my compressor, because my compressor, you don't have to drive that fast to feel like you're going fast, and it gives you that same exhilaration and thrill, versus this, you need to be going into triple digits.
This one, you're just going, and then you don't realize how fast you're going until you look, because you're like, oh wow, I didn't realize I was going over 100 miles, because it just doesn't
on
feel
private
that
roads.
Way.
All right, so those are
on
all
the farms.
Yes, on the farms. So those are all the things that we don't like about our 2007 Porsche 997. So now we're gonna move on to things that we like about.
We have
our
a quite long
997.
list on the other side too.
So we're gonna try to make this really, really quick and concise. All right, so number one, this thing looks amazing.
Obviously.
I mean, there's no way around it. Any 911 to me is like just one of the most beautiful cars ever made by human beings. So yes, beautiful car. Timeless styling, that ties right into looks amazing. 997 never gets old, or not a 997, a 911 never gets old. You can have the oldest 911, you can have the newest 911, and they all still look amazing and beautiful. So
not much elaboration on that one needed.
Exactly. The build quality is very good. So this car is actually put together pretty darn good. I had a Cayenne Turbo that was not put together good. But this one right here is actually pretty darn reliable and pretty good, knock on wood. So I am pretty happy with the build quality.
I haven't had any issues with it. After we replaced the struts, that was the only thing, but it came with, bad struts. After that, nothing else was done to it.
It's been a great, strong car for us.
Absolutely.
Let's see. And nothing drives like a 911. So what I mean by nothing drives like a 911 is that the 911 driving experience is so unique, and it's just amazing. So it drives amazing, and on perfect roads, the 911 is just phenomenal to drive. But on not so perfect roads, it's not so phenomenal to drive. Let's see. Makes amazing sounds. Sounds are coming from the backside of this car. It's just, especially like if you're driving in a parking deck or a tunnel or something like that, it's just like, it screams like it gives you that feeling.
Yeah. It has a nice roar.
The handling is precise. That goes back to the drive. It's not super flashy. Now, one thing I love about the 997 is that it's considered an exotic by some, and it's not as flashy or crazy looking as other exotics. So you can drive this and be more low key. I feel like
definitely.
Everybody's not going to be like, oh, look at that 911. Versus if you get like, for instance, like I don't know, like an R8 or what is another good example of something like? I guess some like AMG cars are a little bit flashier looking now, like the AMG GTs, but you can get these and you can still be low key.
I just feel like it's a classic.
Yes.
Look.
Very, very classic look.
Very classic.
Classic and subtle. The maintenance is very reasonable. A lot of this stuff in these cars, especially now with all the help from the forums and YouTube and all that stuff, a lot of the maintenance on these vehicles is very doable in your garage or parking deck, as you've seen. And there are lots of forums to help you figure out and troubleshoot whatever issues you might be having with your car. So surprisingly, maintaining these cars is not that bad unless you go to the Porsche dealership. Top tip.
Be prepared to pull your wallet out.
Yep. Lots of room for modification and personalization. So because the 997 is such a 997, the 997 and 911s in general are such sought after vehicles, there's tons of aftermarket things that you can add to these vehicles to make it that much more unique and that much more customized and fit you.
Absolutely.
Let's see.
Transmission.
The transmission. So this has a 6-speed manual transmission gearbox. And it is lovely. Fun, feels like a bolt action rifle, like what's his name was saying. And it's just, the transmission is great. I don't really know. The PDKs are good too. The older automatics, I'll steer clear for those.
Porsche service and lifestyle.
So the Porsche service and lifestyle. So we kind of took this part for granted until we started looking for a Toyota Tacoma.
Yes.
And going into a Porsche dealership and getting help and getting service versus going into a Toyota dealership and getting help and getting service are night and day differences, like in every facet that you can imagine. We're not going to go too far into that because we could talk about this alone for probably 15 minutes.
Yeah, but we definitely experienced it, and it's nothing like Porsche quality service.
Yes, it's very, very good. So this right here being a 997, another thing that we love about it is that the interior is just immaculate compared to a 996. So I had I can't remember what year my 996 was, but I had a 996. Was it? Yeah, I think it was 04. And the interior in the 996 is so old and so dated and cheap and plasticky feeling versus coming into a 997 where everything just feels like nice and just spot on and how it should be in a Porsche.
Yeah. Well, that 996 took a really big beating too over the years by the previous owner, so that also made a difference, I'm sure.
Yeah. So the sound system, that's another thing that I absolutely love about this car. Like the Bose sound system in this thing for a factory sound system is amazing. Now my 996 had a really good sound system and it was pretty much a stock sound system, but this has the added Bose subwoofer box in the back. And man, just yesterday we were driving to a party. I mean, that thing was like hitting and I was just like, oh my God, like I just love the way that the sound system in this car sounds. So yeah, I think those are pretty much all the things that we love about this.
Yeah, one thing I forgot I would add to the things that we don't like. I guess it's a Porsche thing. I'm talking about the foam, the blowing out from the vents. eventually it
yes.
deteriorates.
So
and then you have these chunks of foam blowing right into your face as you're driving.
So from the HVAC system, like the inside, there's this foam stuff, and it starts to go bad, and then it starts shooting out. And if you have a 996, I know you know what we're talking about. If you have a 997, you might know what we're talking about.
I mean, it's not bad, but I think this should be fixed. This issue should be fixed.
That shouldn't be happening. So I have some really like catchy catchphrases that I came up with to kind of like put, you know, the 997 into perspective. So I kind of feel like the 911 and the 997 is it's between a Volkswagen GTI and a Subaru STI, because like a GTI, it's fun, it's fast, but it's really kind of soft, and you can play with it and have fun. And then you move over to a Subaru STI, and the STI is very hard and loud and just too much. And I feel like the 911s, they kind of sit right there in that middle spot, or at least the Carrera does. It's like in between AMG, Mercedes, and a Lamborghini. Like, you're not in that Lamborghini extreme craziness of the flushy doors and, like, you know, it's just being ridiculously hard to get in and out of, and all the problems that come with a Lamborghini. But you're like a little bit rougher than an AMG. I kind of feel like.
AMG is definitely more plush feel.
Plush,
for sure.
soft,
the seats,
gentle,
the size,
still
the
powerful.
everything. Yes.
So yeah, that's kind of where I feel like the 911s sit.
Yeah, I think it's a very good explanation.
So in conclusion, this is where we're going now. Why are we selling this 997? And let me scroll the notes down. And so I don't know why. I mean, I can just tell you off the back of my head. Like, number one, I need space. Like, we just bought a house, and we just bought a house, and we just do it-yourself projects all the time. So I need to be able to carry wood. I need to be able to carry paint, our bikes, snowboards, and just do the kind of things that we enjoy doing and do more of it. Because if I had a pickup truck, I could drive it all the time, versus this right here, there's always excuses of why I can't drive it. It doesn't have enough space. We can't put stuff in it. Like, just buying...
Yeah, we can't park. We can't go on that road. We can't do this. It's definitely a trick.
And then another good reason why I'm selling this car is because the roads in Atlanta are just so incredibly bad. Like, even just Saturday night, we were driving to meet some friends of ours. We were doing social distancing, but we still had to go meet some people.
Yes.
And driving there, we were on the road, and we came up to a construction plate thing or whatever that was missing, and my heart literally sank. I was just like, oh my God, I'm going to go into this thing, and I'm going to damage the bottom of my car. Luckily, it wasn't too bad, and I just went right over it. But, I mean, driving in Atlanta, we definitely felt it, but driving in Atlanta is equivalent to driving off-road on most of the roads here. So that's why I really, really want a truck, so I don't have to worry about all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And speaking of driving off-road, I do enjoy off-road driving and going and doing off-road type stuff. So with a pickup truck, with a Toyota Tacoma, I feel like I can do that kind of stuff and not have to worry as much as I am worrying now. Okay, so the last thing is, and I've kind of alluded to that in everything that I'm saying, like the 997 just doesn't really fit into my lifestyle that easy and the things that I enjoy doing. And whenever we go out, it's just always so easy to just jump in the GX. The GX is comfortable. It can take on anything. If it rains, if it snows, if it's whatever we're doing, the GX is there and ready.
Perfect vehicle.
Exactly. Sure. Whereas the 997 is like, it really fits into like a small percentage of the things that we do. Like the GX can do like 99% of the things that we want to do. The 997, on the other hand, only fits like 1%. Honestly.
It's like going to that once in a while, that a proper dressed up dinner. That's how we use this car. It's extremely rare nowadays.
Yes. So it would be a good third car for us, but we only have a 2-bay garage. But it's not a good second car for us. So those are pretty much the reasons why we're selling this car.
Well, so if you guys follow us long enough, and you see how fast my husband changes his cars, I'm taking bets how long he's going to be able to survive without the Porsche, and how long the Taco would last, because I don't think it's going to last longer than 2 years, and I am pushing it because he likes the speed, he likes the sports feel. So he's been like dying to have this Tacoma for past 2 years, like really itching to get it. So I'm taking bets. see how long this is gonna last.
I have a good history with Toyotas. Almost every Toyota I've had for a very long time. So I'm pretty sure I'll keep my Tacoma for a long time. But she is right though. And on that note, I guess we're gonna end this vlog right here. KRT LYFE, KRT LYFE with the Y. Like, subscribe, comment. If you are interested in purchasing a Porsche 997, a 2007 997 with 83,000 miles on it, hit us up in the comments below. If you're in the southeast region, we can probably make something definitely happen. And
no, I was gonna say, you can just message us on IG. It's KRT LYFE,
yes,
with the Y. So we answer either one of those.
Yep. So hit us up if you're interested in buying this car, and then you can get me in a Tacoma faster. So we are out. We'll see y'all next time in the next vlog. Sorry for not, putting a vlog out any sooner, but with COVID-19, the Dragon Wasp, Ramadan, moving, all the stuff that's been happening in our life, we have not done any wrenching in the parking deck lately, but yes. I promise y'all, as soon as we get settled, we will be doing more wrenching right here, not in the parking deck, but in the garage.
And I have to change it to the garage.
Yes. All right, y'all. Peace.